All right, guys, I lied. Every now and then, boy, let me tell you, we just be changing history as the clock ticks. And so I said that I wasn't going to come back today, but I had to come and talk about this. I was inspired to talk about this by spirit, and they wanted me to come on here and talk about it, and I'm going to talk about it. So this is High Priestess Jamila, and I have been successfully, even with a few pitfalls and shortcomings, which, every business at some point suffers from pitfalls and shortcomings. Okay. But I have been successfully running a spiritual witchy business via the internet for the past almost 9 years. And I think it's already been 10 years, but I officially started business in um, December of 2015. It was. And, I've seen a lot. I've been through a lot. My spirits have gotten me through a lot. I have accomplished a lot. And you would think that in that you would run into people that are happy for you. And I have. Shout out to all of my friends on the internet, off of the internet, people that supported me, people that supported my business, my clients, my students, my apprentices. Shout out to y'all. But And this is not just a discussion for witches. This is not just a problem for witches. This is an issue that we are all facing in business, not just in internet business, but even businesses that aren't ran via the internet. But at some point, people are going to put their business on the internet. I mean, it's why wouldn't you? Okay. And so it's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Probably because I don't have the mind, body, and the spirit of a hater. But the message today is going to be about protecting yourself from death while earning money, especially on the internet. Because what comes with that is hate and jealousy and this evil spirit that is out there that wants to punish you. Okay, most of us are not used to seeing people make money online. In fact, you usually don't unless you work with someone. And a lot of you guys that do have jobs have an extremely hard time at your job because people that are co-workers of yours at the job, for some reason, there's that hatred there at the job. And this can be at any job. Somebody could be at your job making more money, less money, or equal money to you, but for some reason, they still have a hatred. Why is that? A lot of people think that the problem is with them. It's and mostly it is. But for the most part, a person that is dubbed a hater, this hatred can grow in a person. Some people are just kind of wired like that, and then the jury is still out on it because there could be many, many, many factors leading to that. Um, and so you have to protect yourself. Now, I'm going to touch on a subject that, while even though they are trying to cause confusion, we all know where it comes from. And it is coming from the gender of the male. They are throwing females in there to confuse the situation. But especially for a woman, the most danger is going to lie within a male. There are several different factors that are leading to this, several different factors. So, if you're actually paying attention to what's going on, what you will see often is you'll hear stories about women that are making their mark. They are trying to support themselves, or either support themselves and their families. And they are creative and they are out there earning. And you hear a story about a man that kills them. This is being done over and over and over again. I mean, if you go out there and look, it's happening a lot, to where you'll have an influencer. It just happened to Shanquilla Robinson. You'll have a social media influencer, and well, with Shanquilla, it was females that did it, but it was a male that seemed to had kind of facilitated this. If you look at the case, it was really crazy. They want to kill you because of your success. So 10 years ago, haters were not like that. People actually embraced their haters. Haters have evolved. They have evolved into these evil spirited people that want to control and dominate, and they've evolved into these people that ultimately will be plotting murders because of your ability to manifest and your success. Okay? This is something you have to watch out for. Social media turns people, and I don't think social media turns people into this. I think that they already have a predisposition towards this kind of craziness, because 10 years ago, it became an epidemic of people murdering people live on Facebook, or, murdering people on Instagram, or murdering people and uploading videos. And so people are now trying to become infamous for attention, right? This is happening. There are some people that would rather gain attention and notoriety doing something that society absolutely repulses. And this is murdering somebody, this is beating people up. There's people out there that want to film. You guys know that I'm psychic, and so I can hear all conversations, so I'm not just an influencer. I am a psychic witch. And I'm going to give you an example, and I'm going to get deep into this. I'm going to dig deep into this. This is a deep dive. But even prior to making the announcement that I am moving back to my hometown. Now, keep in mind, haters and trolls and control freaks, it doesn't matter what you want. They want the complete opposite for you, not that they matter. So when I wanted to live in Georgia, they wanted me to go back home. But now that I want to go back home, and I am going back home to my hometown, I've been in Georgia for almost a decade. Now they want me to not go. So these, you can't, that's why I said you can't allow somebody else to navigate your life, right? Because, you see how confusing they are, how, the confusion, right? Because some people are just mentally ill, but they're worse than that. They're very dangerous. So when I made that announcement, I started hearing conversations about people trying to get other people to ambush me when I go back to my hometown, which will never I can promise you my spirits they will wreak havoc, because if it didn't ever happen here, it ain't gonna never happen there. Oh yeah, I'm very protected. But there was a conversation. This is how these people think. There was a conversation about, well, we're going to get these two people to beat her up and record it and film it for YouTube because these people have nothing else better to do. I mean, honestly, these people are the decay of society. Okay. Anybody that would think of that, and it was a male that was thinking of it. It was a male that was talking about it, and I've noticed that these types of sick people, they infect others, right? They can't infect me, that's very, very ignorant. But I have experienced a lot of hate in social media since starting my business. And so this leads me into the discussion about what's happening on the internet when it comes to, in particular and especially Black males. I've got to bring this up. I know that a lot of people don't like to do this because, yeah, every single day, white men are violent. They're killing people. Men at an alarming rate. Men commit most of the crimes around the world globally. We cannot argue about that, right? But the reason why I bring up Black men in particular and why they are triggered by seeing anybody earn money online, which is why there's some people, they can't come on here and actually actively advertise their businesses around certain Black men because it triggers them. They're triggered by this. So, for example, every single time I say that my company, Divine Services, is successful, they have to close out the video. They have to mute it. They can't hear that. They're triggered. Every single time they see somebody donating to my super chat, or if they see somebody, live, they'll say, well, I purchased a reading, Jamila. These Black men will get triggered. They'll go, oh, God. It makes them physically sick because somehow, Black men are plagued with this. Not all of them. I'm not saying all of them, but it is not a coincidence, and I'm going to tell you why. A lot of you Black men are triggered by seeing, especially a Black woman earning money online, and why y'all will plot, plan, scheme, fantasize about murdering a woman online that you see earning money. It does have roots in patriarchy. But I think that patriarchy didn't exactly mean that. So it seems like every single thing that goes on that has went on in society, that society is ultimately thrown out. The black men absorb it. And not only do they absorb it, but they intensify those energies. So everything that society has deemed as undesirable, barbaric, unintelligent, illogical, the black male has absorbed it, especially if they are of a certain age and from a certain generation. In particular, what I've noted is a lot of black men in my generation, which is Generation X. There are a plethora of them that have essentially absorbed every single undesirable trait of a male and decided to not only exacerbate it, but brag about it and literally sit and do it out in the open. For example, body shaming. Everybody knows how undesirable it is to body shame. I mean, even if you're body shaming somebody that society may deem as undesirable in the way that they look, it's undesirable watching you and listening to you body shame people. In fact, what it does is it then causes those men to be undesirable. Not too many people want to hear that. It's repulsive. It's repulsive. It is. Watching and listening to especially a male, but it's just as disgusting seeing a female do it. It's silly. It makes no sense. And really what it looks like is just unadulterated hate for a person. And it looks very unreal because if a person is so undesirable and you don't like them, why are you talking about them? So it's when it comes to black men, however, that specifically are very triggered and have hatred, deep seated hatred for seeing anybody make money in social media. They can't even in turn watch. They hate it so much that if they see a person that has organic views on their channel, they will spend hours and hours and hours of their time flagging a person that they see that has views that's not doing something ignorant. So, black men will say, oh, well, you know how black people, we can't do anything in social media without cooning, but black men are the ones that facilitate the cooning. They are the ones that are doing. And cooning is what is the urban definition of cooning? The urban definition of cooning is coming out in social media, doing something stupid and gaining attention for it and people watching you just because you're doing and saying something stupid. It's not making any sense. It's repulsive. It's undesirable. But people will still watch you just simply because they like to see you look stupid. So black men are actually facilitating it while at the same time claiming that the white man forced them to do it. Now, a lot of us black women that are intelligent, we know that that's not the truth because we've done it. Even though there are certain laws that are set up that can that we know what the deal is. So when it comes to black women and black men, because of slavery, black women have been sort of put in a position of power over the black man to where we're just like we're being expected to take responsibility for them. And I'm here to tell you that we shouldn't be expected to take responsibility for every black male in this country. Maybe our children, If you have a black son that you raised correctly that's not doing that, then you should not have to be bothered. But a lot of us have felt like we have had to be bothered with the off putting behavior of black males in this society. Somebody else's child. We've got to be scapegoated upon. A complete stranger. You don't even know this person who possibly was raised by a mother that didn't take 2 seconds to set a good example and probably raised her child to be that in the first place. Now, these black males that are doing this, what's really the deal with why they are doing this? Is it because of somebody's spell work? It possibly could be. I mean, I personally feel as though I don't buy that because, as a witch, somebody that knows about conjure, somebody that knows about the craft very well, I can honestly tell you that if I wanted to get back at an enemy, I would do it straight on. There's no need to use a black male to do that. However, unless you were trying to destroy both, unless you wanted to take down two birds with one stone. Otherwise, it would make no sense for anybody to decide, oh, I want to use this black male as a weapon. So nobody's giving black men a pass. They make a decision to come on here. They make a decision to chase and stalk around business owners. They make a decision to sit around and fantasize about killing and murdering black women for being successful. They do that themselves. It's them that's doing it. And let's talk about why they're doing it. I'm going to break down the psychology of it. These particular black men are factually programmed. Who programmed them? Probably their family, probably their mother programmed them. And the way that they are programmed is they are to look at success. They are to look at nice cars, nice homes, safe homes, nice neighborhoods. They are trained and programmed not by the white man, not by society, but by their own families to believe that this is something that only a white man or white woman can have. These particular black men, they are trained for that. That is what blocks off their ability to manifest. Their ability to manifest is being blocked by their deep-seated belief that any kind of success is never to be bestowed upon a black person and that money belongs to the white man. They pay no attention to the millions, and I do believe that there are a lot of black men out there that are successful. They don't pay any attention to them. They look at what they see, and the only thing that exists to them is what they are used to seeing. Their sight does not go beyond they mamas, they daddies, they brothers, and the people in their family. At some point, they've been trained and programmed to not think outside of the box. They think that the only way a black man can be successful is if he is a basketball player or, he has to go to college, or he also has to be a rapper. Now, black men are highly programmed by rap music because they choose to be programmed by it. Nobody is telling them that. You still have a choice, but yet they still stay stuck in that box. And so their minds are programmed to believe that they are going to die, that somebody is going to kill them. It's like they have some kind of mass, blanket of paranoid schizophrenia, to where, they look at all the rappers and they think in their mind, they equate it to, wow, I'm black, rappers are being murdered. And so then that in turn narrows their options, because a lot of black men think, well, the only way a black man is going to be successful is if he's a basketball player, a football player, or a rapper. They can't think beyond that. So they look at it and they say, well, this is few and far between. I'm never going to make it as a rapper. I wouldn't even know how to market myself. And the only way they know how to market themselves is by calling women bitches and hoes, being a pimp type. They allow the images that they have seen of themselves the past 50 years in television to dictate who they were in the future. Then, as they look at the white man in a position of power over them, they are very fearful. They are very fearful of the white man, right? So who else does these black men have to go to assert all of this anger, all of this confusion, all of this chaos, all of this anguish? The black woman. Or just the woman. Black men do not believe that they are a part of they don't feel that they have the ability to manifest what they want, even though there are tons of black men out there that do manifest what they want. And but a lot of them even still feel as though they got to step on somebody, they got to burn somebody, they got to kill somebody to get somewhere in life. That belief of self projects out to the world, right? So what they do in turn is they look at anybody that has manifested any kind of success as an enemy. When they actually see somebody doing it with that thought process in their head, that money only comes from white people and that white people are the only ones that have the right and the ability to manifest money, then that's when they start displaying the off putting, undesirable, self destructive behavior. Then in turn, then in turn, what it creates is a cognitive dissonance. That cognitive dissonance is on 1,000 with a lot of them. Okay. So during that cognitive dissonance, that is when your life and your children's lives end up in danger. I just had a black man that watches me very closely. He watches me very, very closely, is even monitoring me. I just recently had to block him from my messenger because every time I would come on here and either give one of my motivational speeches, not on this subject, anytime I would have an alchemical discussion that was going to help someone, or if he felt that I said something that was going to be worth something, he would always have to come into my inbox and abuse me. Because this is the way that this black man is programmed and wired. Now, a lot of you white women that are listening, you're thinking, well, white men do the same thing. Well, as a black woman, I've really only had experience with black men doing this. But yes, I can tell you that on a mass scale, yeah, to the point where a lot of black women are never going to find a mentally competent, very well rounded and balanced black man. It's not going to happen. Many of us black women, unless we do date outside of our race or find somebody from a different country, many of us are not going, especially in our age bracket. Now, the younger generation is a lot better. Generation X, a lot of Generation Xers are totally screwed, mind, body, and spirit. They are screwed because they cannot break the mold of the baby boomers. So, I'm one of them that did break the mold of the baby boomers, but many of them can't. They didn't do it. Okay. So that is where, in turn, they want to do violent things to you. They want you to not gain more than them. It makes them feel uncomfortable because what they are used to seeing is the opposite. So what do a lot of them feel that they need to do? They need to kill it. They need to cut it off because a lot of them are trained by their religion. A lot of them have religious programming. A lot of them have programming that came straight out of slavery. A lot of them. And that is where your life can possibly be put in danger. Now, I have dealt with a hate group, specifically that was targeting me. And in this hate group, they obviously have hatred for the black woman because they have hatred for their black mothers. They're not going to admit to the hatred for their black mothers because that would make it obvious. So what they did in turn was they used me as the honorary black woman that they were going to attack, right? I was the target. I was the sacrifice, which makes me laugh, right? Which will never be a part of reality. The reason why is because I am vetted. If you're going to be out here in social media making money where a bunch of strangers are looking at you, where they can come across you, you have to make sure that you have protection. And as a witch, I see many, many, many people out here in social media. earning money, doing various things. Some of them are witches, but some of them are not. You see people doing hair, you see people selling clothes, you see people starting boutiques, you see people doing all sorts of different things to earn, money. And these people often become a part of the same targeting. Imagine what that could be for a witch, being that they're so super duper programmed and ignorant when it comes to witches. So that, within itself, coming out here as a black woman and a witch, you can really, really be targeted. And you have to have that protection in place. You have to have that protection in place so that you don't become a victim of crimes committed by these confused and very chaotic, very ignorant people. If you are out here in social media, you have to have a connection with your ancestors. You have to have a connection with, your spirits, your angels, your demons, your deities. Regardless, it's not just witches that need protection. It's all of you that need protection because all of you are being targeted. And it's not the government, it's people in society. Now, yeah, there probably is people that work within the government that might even have some kind of government clearance or something, but those are just those individual people. I mean, you can be a corrupt person and have access to systems. I mean, I'm not a corrupt person, and I worked for the Internal Revenue Service seasonally. Okay. But, I've never used government systems to look up people's information. Hell no. I've never done that. But there are, so when it comes to corruption, that's on an individual basis. And that corruption could be a senator, a judge, whatever. But these are ordinary citizens. These are not people that actually have any power unless you give it to them. Yeah. Every single day that you go online and you do those readings or you show, there's a guy there's a guy on TikTok. There's a TikTok channel where he just literally has pearls, and he's taking them straight out the shell and selling them. He's either making jewelry out of them or either selling individual pearls. Okay. There is always going to be a person behind the computer with a spirit on them that is seething with some kind of hatred because of what you are doing to earn your keep in this society. They are all out there, they are amongst us. We don't exactly know what is wrong with them. Okay. We don't exactly know what's wrong with these people, why they sit behind a computer, how they, well, I can't even imagine the mentality of a person that just sits behind the computer seething with hatred. Just, ooh, sometimes I see them and I'm glad I don't feel them. I can see them. It's very disturbing. They just have this look on their face that is just so evil. They hate you because you are showing your creativity. They hate you for running your businesses. They hate you because of that. Okay. It just is what it is. Put up your protection. And what you have to have protection from is what? Death. Because they want You dead. These types of people want you dead. Do you understand me? They would rather see you dead because, see, you're a part of the cognitive dissonance. You make them feel uncomfortable, even though all they got to do is unsub from your channel and stop watching you. No, they can't do that. Of course, they don't have that kind of control over themselves to just stop watching you. No, they got to keep watching. But you make them feel uncomfortable. You make them feel weird. They get this weird sensation. That is the sensation of cognitive dissonance. And then also some of them are, and I don't know why, somebody that is in that mindset does not need to be smoking no marijuana. Because what does marijuana do? Marijuana intensifies, it intensifies those thoughts. So, a person, because I personally feel that it's schizophrenia, it's paranoid, it's a person that's very delusional, that doesn't exactly see things the way society sees it, the way a normal person in society would see something. Okay. So you have to protect yourself from death. And in that is where, because years ago, and it doesn't mean that just because you protect yourself from death, it doesn't mean that those people are not going to make moves. They are going to still, because they are who they are. But when it comes to protecting yourself from death, it's also bad luck, because bad luck can cause what? Bad luck can cause accidents. See, these people are conjuring those energies against you. You see, we got somebody in the chat room. Yeah, they are mental. They are all mental. Yes, they are. And so a lot of people would be very afraid of that. A lot of people are afraid of that. There are a lot of you that are very creative. You have gifts. We're not even just talking about spiritual gifts. A lot of you guys can draw, you can paint, you can connect with others. But you scared to death because you know that when you come out here and you step in the snake pit, or either I call I call the World Wide Web the big, the deep blue sea, where there's big sharks and little sharks. So a lot of you guys are afraid of that, and you don't even have to be. I mean, honestly, there's a reason why there is a rash of social media influencers that are being murdered. I've been doing the research on it. If you notice, a lot of social media influencers are being murdered, physically unalived. And you know what's crazy is that it's usually by a romantic partner. My thoughts on it is that, is it a conspiracy? Is it like a secret society that sits down and plots and plans? Okay. It's sick, but you know what? A lot of people, eh, you know, a lot of y'all that get threatened by a romantic partner, a lot of y'all, and there's been so many cases, and like spirit is trying to tell you something. It is spirit is trying to tell you something, because a lot of women, they will go and they will get an ex parte order or a restraining order, and these people will still unalive you. These men, even women, women have been murdered by other women, and they'll still unalive you, even though you have that restraining order. So a restraining order is not going to protect you. It's not. Now, having the ability to physically defend yourself, yeah, that's important. But, I feel that spiritual protection from that, and very specific. A lot of y'all, however, are hesitant on saying, I protect myself from death. I protect myself from violence. You know why? Because for some reason, y'all are programmed to believe that when you, or when people, not you, because y'all are all still here, that when people are murdered, that it's some kind of destiny or date with death. And see, I've worked with Santa Martha, and she disagrees with that. She's saying, no, it's not that it's, meant to be. When you see people saying gone too soon, or when a death is so devastating that people never get over it, the murder of somebody that was taken out, you know, okay. And it's because it wasn't, and because a lot of people, when they look at murder, they'll say, well, that was God's work. No, that was somebody that either physically shot somebody, beat somebody to death, or stabbed them, or did something. So a lot of people look at death as something that, well, if it's your time to go, well, I guess so. But I also believe in fate being what you make it. And I believe that God ultimately, like the true God, I believe that God gives you, and it's a very uncomfortable topic. Death is a very uncomfortable topic for a lot of people. But, I can promise you that, it's many of you and are meant to live long lives until you're old. I mean, you got to look at the Titanic. Those people that were able to get off of that boat and get into a lifeboat, which those people that were in the lifeboat still could have froze to death out in the middle of the North Atlantic. Because just because you got into a lifeboat, that's why I would have never got on the Titanic. I'm like, no, I think I'll pass. Y'all have fun. I'm staying where I'm at. Thank you. But those people that got on those lifeboats, they could have froze to death out there in the middle of the North Atlantic. It was freezing out there. They could have and but they were not in the water, but they were still very close to the water. The boats could have malfunctioned. I'm pretty sure that many of those boats did, those lifeboats. It doesn't mean that, I don't believe in it being somebody's time to go. That if some crazy delusional fool, unalives you, that just means that, well, it was time for them to go home to glory. I don't believe in that. In fact, I'm sitting as I look around and I observe death to these crazy people. It's like a game to them. Like jigsaw. So they're creating death, which, you know, Death and creation, to me, even though they are closely related, as how we look at the circle or the wheel of life, death is the end. It's not a creation, it's just the end. But creation and death are two different things. But they're creating death, which to me makes no sense. So let me drift back because I'm getting far off. Y'all know I go way off into the damn universe. If you're out here making money on the internet, you have to protect yourself because there's people out there that you make them feel uncomfortable. They are either used to somebody doing something for them or being given something, or either they don't have the capacity to do the same thing that you do and they have a jealousy. It's closely related to Othello syndrome. And there's many old Othellos out there. Oh my God. You bound to run into it. These are people that hate and don't congratulate. And these are also people that, they just have a deep seated jealousy. So Othello syndrome is morbid jealousy. These people do have morbid jealousy. Witchcraft protects you from people's morbid jealousy. Your ancestors, your deities, your intention will protect you from this morbid jealousy. Can you imagine being somebody like Beyonce or Will Smith? These are very, very, very popular and successful influencers. Can you imagine all of the people that are jealous, all of the men that seethe with jealousy for Will Smith? This is, I mean, he's got to be one of the richest black men in society. I'm pretty sure that people wish death upon him every single day. But how is he protecting himself? And then not only that, Will Smith, he don't even look his age. He don't look like he's aged one bit. He keeps himself in good shape. He's not aging and looking all crazy. I mean, we can speculate, and say, well, we can say about rich people, well, they have access to the best foods and things of that nature. But I think it's spiritual. I think that it's spiritual protection ultimately that protects them, because I'm pretty sure that a public figure, he's out in the public. Beyonce is out in the public, and they say that Beyonce is a demon. They demonize Beyonce, and Beyonce is a singer and a dancer and an actress. So it is the lack of spiritual protection. And then a lot of y'all that have internet businesses, and I'm not just talking about witchcraft, witchy businesses. I'm talking about all businesses. Y'all don't really have protection around that business. Y'all have to put protection around your businesses. Now, yes, I am plugging protection. Yes, I am. Just because somebody acts a fool in social media and attacks you and says something to you, don't mean that you're not protection. Yeah, haters are gonna hate. Like I said, haters have gotten a little bit more complicated, and they've evolved to the point where they want to act like the actual hate of hating gives them power over you. No, please go ahead and digress, haters, because they done started. They done evolved to the point where they want to act like the actual hate, the actual act of hating simply means that they have the power over you, and they don't. But they believe it, and they do have followers that believe that their actual act of hating is going to stop you. And if you feel like you're being oppressed by those people, or if you fear those people, then yeah, they will stop you. So you have to be strong. And it's not strength, it's not physical strength, mental strength. You have to build up that resistance to them because they always going to be there. And you know what? They recruit. That's why I said that they have evolved. They recruited. And then they even tried to create jobs for themselves. They wanted to get paid for it. Now the pay grade is really low. A hater ain't gonna get paid that much. They may be able to buy them a beer for the night or a couple of packs of cigarettes or a bag of a bud, but they ain't gonna be able to run no household by being a hater. You're not gonna ever be a millionaire hater or hatress. It's just not gonna happen. And I think that it's the good Lord that does that. Like, no, we're gonna leave you in the lowest tax bracket possible. Because what they do in turn is they create death and destruction and not growth. These are people that actually essentially stop society as a whole. They mess with the economy. They are a drag on the economy. They're not contributing to the economy. So this is why they have to create their own. It's almost like when you see those how the government burns old money, how they take it and they burn it every once in a while, because they feel like it ain't no good no more. And I think it's something spiritual why the government will burn money that done got too old or whatever. I think that I don't know all of the logistics behind it, but I know that the government burns money every so often. I guess maybe every 10 years, I don't know. So they're taking that energy and they're just recycling it. It's never going to grow for them. And then they have gotten even more sophisticated to where the people that they are hating on, they want their identity. So then they'll make up reasons why you're supposedly hating on them while they're hating on you. So you're actually making the money. You're actually, you've got a physical manifestation of the money. You have a lot of physical manifestations of the real money that you have manifested, while they don't, but they're gonna make it up. They're gonna say, oh, I got money, I got bread, but then in reality they don't even have a loaf of bread. So then they lie. This is the haters' new game. I mean, they actually, and 10 years ago, 20 years ago, when we looked at haters, we wondered what the hell was going to happen to them. And some of them evolved, but a lot of them digressed. They didn't. It was like de-evolution. To the point where, these people are stuck in this mindset of being totally full of shit, making up a false ego. That's a part of the false ego. And looking at the actual producers, the actual movers, and the damn shakers. And so then they want to switch identities. They want an energy vamp. But even if they was able to get a hold of your energy, they wouldn't even know what the hell to do with it. They haven't studied alchemy. They don't know nothing about that. That's a mindset of a hater. So then they'll think of any way that they can to overcompensate. Oh, you're hating on me because of this. You're hating on me because of that. While they purposely come after you every day, you ain't thinking about them. Your mindset is on what you got to do. You focused on what you need to do for yourself and your family, but the hater is constantly focused on you, constantly focused on you, ain't they? My God. While at the same time, they trying to give you The identity, they want to switch places with you, even though they not ready. They not ready to switch places with you. Nobody can switch places with somebody. Nobody can take what somebody has, because nobody can take somebody's energy or their identity. Nobody can do that, but that's what they want to do. It's the same concept of identity theft. Okay, there's a really good movie with Annabella Sciorra, and that's another one of my favorite actresses. This is considered to be a baddie. I love me some Annabella Sciorra. I think her name is Anna Sciorra. I think, no, it's Annabella. She was in Jungle Fever. I love her. The movies that she has made have been phenomenal, and she actually played the role of a woman. And y'all got to see this movie. Look it up. She plays the role of a woman that she actually had a job as a secretary in a real estate office, right? Annabella did, Sciorra. And so she has this job as a secretary, okay? She's not making a lot of money as a secretary. And another woman comes in that has a very good job. She makes a lot of money at the job that she does, right? And so, no, it wasn't a real estate office. I believe it was a mortgage company. She worked as a mortgage company secretary. And so the lady comes in there one day. This woman, she decided, I'm ready to buy a house. She had worked all those years. She had worked on her credit, and she decided she wanted to buy a house. And so she goes into this mortgage company and runs across, just so happens to meet Annabella Sciorra, who was playing the role of this person that she had to give, when she filled out the application for the mortgage application. All of her personal information was on it. And so what Annabella did was she stole her information, went and ran up her credit. I mean, her mortgage application went through, but after the mortgage application went through, Annabella was basically running up her credit. She had gotten a brand new car. She had gotten a new apartment. She had ordered a bunch of TVs and all kind of stuff under her credit, and literally ruined this woman's life, literally ruined her life. She all of a sudden started getting these bill collection calls. But when you actually look at the movie and you look how good Annabella played this role of this woman, like, it literally is the mindset of a person that does things like that, because they don't feel that they can do any better than committing this crime. And she actually went to jail because of it. Like, she actually ended up putting this woman in prison. And the it's a good movie. Y'all should watch it. It'll be a good movie for y'all to watch on a Saturday. But it's crazy because just the because she ended up meeting her. There's a scene in the movie where they meet, and Annabella is just like, well, you had everything and I had nothing. And she told her, she said, you ruined my life. She was like, I worked hard to get to where I was at. And she was like, well, you know, just that selfish, I don't care attitude. She played the hell out of that role. So y'all should see that movie. And that's typically the act of a person that wants to derail somebody. They all feel that way, on some level, even those that have something, because she had something. It's not that she didn't have nothing. She just didn't appreciate what she had, because she had a job and she had an apartment. Annabella did. She had an apartment. And she could have done better for herself, but she ended up in prison. And then a bunch of other crazy stuff, wild stuff happened. Y'all to see it, but it is the act of somebody. For some reason, people. There are some people that have this thing about money. It is very awkward and weird for them. And for me, when I look at very rich people, when I look at very rich people, Unless it's somebody that's obviously a rich asshole that, and I have ran into some rich assholes, people that, they just kind of, they look at people that are less fortunate than them as like, they look at them as trash. They look at them as garbage. And, I don't think that that's necessarily right because, but they have privilege and, they feel like, I don't care. I'll step on you, in fact, I'll take what you have, so we do live in that kind of society to where it's like dog eat dog world. And that's why I always tell you guys to protect your energy. And anybody can do that. You'll have even some people that you do business with. Some people that you do business with will try to scam you. Okay, I'm talking about scam you to the point where, they're not going to provide you with a service. They will, take what you have, but then they will take everything. They'll have an intention on, taking your energy and using it for themselves, which again, I spoke about how all of us are feeding from source, which is the sun, which is nature, which is the energies that are available. A lot of people that don't really know alchemy, a lot of people that don't understand alchemy, a lot of people that don't understand how to connect to source, they are the ones out here doing a lot of that. And the people that are the most successful, they have connected with source. If you have a connection with source, then you know what I'm talking about. But if you're somebody that has no understanding of that, then more than likely, you're going to feel as though you have to take away from someone else. And for me, being who I am, born into this incarnation, I believe that I was created just to break that cycle where people feel as though, what they're doing has to take away from someone else. And so that's why it's really important. A lot of you guys that I talk to on a daily basis, is really important for people to create more, because a lot of people are out there essentially fighting over these jobs. And sometimes when you get a job, a lot of people feel like it takes away from someone else, but it is like a rotation almost. So it doesn't even work that way. But a lot of people are looking at it and functioning totally opposite of the energy of money. They don't really understand the science of money, which is why they go out there and they steal and they scam and they scheme because they don't really understand. And my field of study, witchcraft, okay, or if you're a witch and you have a business, for some reason, spirituality and witchcraft is one of the most used, and I hate to call it industry, but I have to for the purpose of this discussion. It is one of the most used to scam people. It is. Scam artists, and they come in many different forms. There's levels to it. There's some people out here scamming people who will literally just put up a website. Hey, I can do a spell for you. $20 holla, $30 holla. And they got a lot of people sending them that $20, $30, and it's a scam. It's almost like panhandling. It is panhandling because can't nobody do no spell for nobody for no damn $30 unless you're contributing to like a group ritual or something, and there's some kind of group ceremony that's being done to maybe like venerate the ancestors or something. You know what I'm saying? Like what I do with my Sabbaths. Okay. But otherwise, that I mean, you can like there are some people that like, for example, a spell bottle. You can go on Etsy and you can get a money spell bottle, and those money spell bottles will be valuable. Okay. But other things, it'll be valuable to some, but not all. Okay. And you can get that for maybe 30, 40, 50 bucks, just buy like a witch bottle, and so I'm not talking about with that. I'm talking about a person that just takes your money and they don't do anything with it. So that's first level scam in my industry. Second level scam, what you see a lot of is people attempting to do things, but then they're not really vetted. Third level scam in my industry is people that are tricksters. And basically, what they do is that they know a lot about conjure, they know a lot about certain things, and how they scam the clients is they trap them essentially. It's like a trap. Okay, to the point where they think of it's almost like they think of ways, or they will create things themselves. They'll create it themselves to keep that one person doesn't have an ongoing issue. Like I said, in my business, since I've started my company, I've had hundreds, probably I know I've had to at least had a couple of thousand clients since I've started my company. And many of those clients, they come and get their spells, or whatever, and they move on. They just, it's but some of my clients, they have very uh complicated things going on to where they have to work with me long term. And so and that's because it's not something that they can do real quick. And they and many of them are usually fellow witches or healers or empaths that need more help, or they may have a lot of issues that they need to work through with me. Okay. So that's not me essentially setting a trap for them. That's me making myself open to those people to continuously help them. And it's only a few and far between. And a lot of those people, are uh, they either turn into good friends, or either they're like apprentices, and they're going to eventually join up with my coven. But otherwise, the people come and they get work done, and then they move on. So yeah, I've done fertility work for people, and they come to me, they get the work done, they get pregnant, they move on. I've done love work for people, I've done healing work for people. They come to me, they get the work, they move on. Some of them do come back every year or so to get a cleanse. I do recommend that, you know what I'm saying? And I do have quite a few clients that I have worked for, several years ago, and they'll come back and they'll say, "Hey, how you doing? I ain't seen you in a minute. I wanted to get another one of them cleanses." But otherwise, I'm not setting up a spiritual trap house over here, to where, I'm just like hanging on to that person, and I form a core to that person, and mm-mm, I don't do stuff like that. Okay. So, it's, especially if you have a spiritual business, you do have to protect yourself, because what I'm finding out, and I've only had this happen twice, well, not even twice, once, is and I've never had a client do this before, but it's almost like the client came and scammed me. The client scammed me to where they were pretending to be a client, but they actually had another agenda. Obviously, I'm not going to get into it in this discussion, because I don't want to bring that person up, because this is something that I want a lot of people to see, because this is gonna help people. And And I'm just one person with a small business, in comparison to this entire globe of people. You know what I'm saying? What I want to say in closing is be careful out there and make sure that you protect yourself from death when you out here. Okay, no matter what you're doing. I don't know if and I'm gonna tell you exactly where it comes from. It is that evil eye. Is pretty much essentially what it is the evil eye. People that look at you and they don't want you to earn any money, and so that's why they scam, and they do scam in the name of religion as well. They scam. That's why they'll come to your pages and they'll say, "Oh, go to Jesus," and those people are full of crap. They don't even know anything about Jesus. They're just saying that, just so that they can, make us psychic readers feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? And it's that energy, it's that prototype of a person that essentially, especially if they're looking at a spiritual business and they're hating, they're focused on the money. They're focused on the money. Like I said last night, I'm not going to become rich by doing what I'm doing. Right? I can become financially stable, but rich, no, nobody's trying to become some millionaire, and doing what I'm doing. Now, if I were to just so happen to invest in something that made me a millionaire, opposite from my company, or if my company was to grow to that capacity, then yeah. But otherwise, to sit up here and I do what I do as a service to people because I care about people. I'm not doing what I'm doing to just become rich. But at the end of the day, I do still have to earn a decent income, even to be, mentally and physically sane enough to even do what I'm doing. So that in turn, a hater can't argue with my spirits. And because you guys are, I'm gonna tell y'all about something. The lake house, okay? Why do spirits actually want me at the lake? It is because, first of all, I am I am essentially a water element type of person. And when it comes to living on the lake, it is because it would help me meditate, recharge, heal after dealing with some of the most horrific spirits. I mean, I actually have an entire tapestry that's a lake. Just looking at the lake that I have a tapestry in my bedroom, helps me meditate and heal from what I'm doing, and I deserve that. It's not about, oh, I'm living the lap of luxury. Hell, many of us spiritualists, and I've seen them do it. They'll get a little small house, a tiny house on the lake. You ain't like somebody, gotta have a mansion on the lake or some kind of freaking, but that's what that it's about. It's about being close to nature. It's about being close to that water for meditation purposes and for the aesthetic purposes of, because of what I'm doing. And so people look at that as, oh, it's about money. Well, it's not about money, even though lakefront property can be a little bit more expensive than other properties. But why are you worried about it? Why are you worried about how much money I make? Why are you worried about because honestly, I've heard people complaining about how much I charge for my services, but my clients are not complaining about that. So that's not even real. That's deception. And the reason why I charge what I charge is not only to protect me, but to protect you. Because a lot of people are out here not charging enough for spiritual services. And that's the reason why spells are backfiring, because you're not charging enough. But we're not gonna get off into that. Anyway, protect yourselves no matter what you're doing, whether or not you are out here running a witchy business, whether or not you either do work for people, or if you just whatever you're doing, especially if you're in social media, make sure that you are protecting yourself, because people are stupid. I can't sit up here and even pretend that I do have a deep level of understanding, but I don't see how somebody stays stuck that way. It's like it's like the ears are shut down. That's why I call them zombies. And yeah, as a witch, somebody that knows about spirit, I can tell you that yes, those people are possessed. For somebody to sit behind a computer seething with hatred at a business owner, you are factually possessed by something. It's not a demon. Everybody always says demon possessed. No, no. More than likely, it's probably a spirit that got put up on that person for whatever reason, probably for the purposes of destroying that person. So that's why I come on here and I try to provide the spiritual education that I can, which is why I did the reading on Leonard Cure. If you guys didn't see that, go look at it. Yeah, that man was possessed by spirits. If we keep being ignorant and saying, oh, it's the devil, it's the devil, it's the devil, it's the devil, it's the devil. Well, historically, the devil or Satan or Lucifer is knowledge. It's not what you're looking at. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people are ignorant to that fact. And so people can put destructive spirits in a person. And those destructive spirits can cause a lot of issues. They can either put them in or around a person. So you have to protect yourself from that. And with that being said, I'm going to go because I am doing this whole thing today where I am smudging out my house and I'm getting ready to salt. It's going to be, I'm making some more of my special salt today. And I've got plenty of it. I'm thinking about, no, I don't want to use this black salt because then that'll put black all in. I make this salt with camphor that does keep evil out. And so I'm getting ready to get these windows salted because I found that when I stopped doing that, and it's certain things that you need to do spiritually, especially around this time of the year or all year round, really, keeping that salt barrier on those windows and around your doors is going to be very important. So I would highly suggest that a lot of you guys do that. I mean, you don't have to have the salt and camphor mixture like what I'm going to have, because my salt is going to be infused with camphor. Uh, and you can also use eggshell powder to do the same thing, but I feel like salt is going to be necessary. And so, especially right now, because people are out there, people that do know about conjure, they're sending all kind of stuff to you. So if you have a problem in your house, it's probably a good idea to smudge your house and protect your house with that salt. with the entrance ways and doorways. I mean, you can vacuum it up, but and you want to salt your closets too. Any kind of doorway in your house. That's what I would do. Any kind of entrance way, anything that anything can get through, put that barrier up. And I think that was one of the things that I have been lacking and slacking. So I can admit that because I know damn well, okay. And ain't nobody, I ain't even, I'm not even gonna lie to you. And a lot of people, they get mad and angry about the craft specifically because it didn't work for them. And a lot of these people, thank God it didn't, because a lot of people, they look at witchcraft as just an evil thing that is to be used to do harm to people, and that's not the truth. Yeah, there's definitely evil things, because a lot of people say, well, how you gonna protect yourself with witchcraft, from witchcraft? Witches do it all the time. Yeah, you can, because witchcraft is not all evil. There's good in witchcraft. You can do a lot. In fact, you can do more good things with witchcraft than bad. So a lot of people think of witchcraft as just some evil thing, and that's not true. Witches have been doing it for lifetimes. They've been, you know, uh, uh, they've been, performing miracles with it, and including Jesus. So I don't understand why these people are on this continuous plight against witchcraft when in reality, those are people that don't want you to be protected. They don't want you to know the knowledge, which is why they running around here flagging channels. They running around here flagging channels and hating because they don't want you to know how to use witchcraft to actually protect yourself and actually, heal yourself. They don't want you to know that. Okay. So I gotta go, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed this discussion. I'm shocked that I didn't have more viewers. Okay. I'm shocked, but that's because I got some things to do and I'm getting ready to do it right now. Uh, mm-hmm. So I gotta go. I will see y'all later. Hopefully, I'm gonna share this to the community. Why? Because certain topics that I hit on, this group of spirits, they automatically go, oh God, we don't want, oh, but you can't fight me. You can't fight this because I am a messenger for the spirit. So you're not going to be able to stop me from putting these messages out there to help people. Okay. Trust me. It's people are going to see this video. Trust me, because it's better than that distraction. What they want you to do, what this group of people want you to do is sit around and listen to people talking crazy to you and telling you things and joking around and telling jokes that ain't gonna do you no damn good. All that jokey joke and ha ha he he and laughing about dumb shit, that's not going to help you ever. Okay? And really, to be honest with you, none of them really have time to be sitting around laughing because they haven't accomplished anything. A lot of them need to get on the ball. What you sitting around laughing about? You ain't did what you supposed to do yet. So I don't have time to be sitting around laughing with nobody. Okay? Because when you do that, what are they? They are distractions. They are distracting you from what you're supposed to be doing. Now, after you done got yourself established, then yeah. But then, if you establish yourself financially, you better stay the hell away from them people that are doing the fool, because them people will try to drag you down. Trust me, I speak from personal experience. I just recently had an experience with an African American male, and to where this man was trying to drag me down, and literally thought that he was going to make me digress. I guess he was trying to roll back time to where he didn't have to suffer the cognitive dissonance of reality. So he in turn worked hard to try to derail and destroy the progress that I made in my life. Okay. So even then, you got to be careful with them ops and them agents. Found out he wasn't nothing but an op and an agent for nothing that made no sense. It, I figured out that he was trying to be an agent for poverty and welfare. How the hell do you, how do you get lost like that? Okay. How do you, how do you, get so confused like that? But anyway, y'all have a good one. Have a happy Saturday. And that is my discussion. Okay. All right. And if you guys want protection, if your life is being threatened, because I've had clients that have came to me that have had men threaten their lives, them and their children, just crazy as a damn crazy as cat shit. Okay. Came to them and threatened them, and I've done protection, and that man ended up in prison. Thank the gods. I mean, he was going to do something crazy eventually. He did end up going to prison because he ended up doing something crazy, but he didn't actually hurt nobody. So my protection was not only able to protect my client, but it was able to protect the person that he was trying to victimize, which led him to jail. And protected society from this crazy fool. Okay. All right, y'all. I will see y'all later. Y'all have a good one. Okay. Blessings. Bye.